You know that we as Christians should actually know how to possess our body in honor and sanctification. Now, this is not something that the world system wants. We see over in First Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 4 and 5, where Paul states, each one of you should intuitively know to possess your vessel in sanctification and honor, not in the desirous passions, just as which also the Gentiles, the ones not intuitively knowing God. So we actually know God. We are saved. And we should know how to properly possess our own bodies in a way where we are sanctified, we are set apart unto God, and we are treating it honorably, treating it as something that is important, especially when it comes to sex. You see, the world system doesn't want us to be pure. The world system wants us to be involved in things that they're involved with, especially in relation to sex, so that it can manipulate the mind of those who are involved in it. It does this by presenting this false image of sexuality. But yet, purity is actually the way we should be. That is the way we were actually designed. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 18 talks about the fact that we should flee the fornication. Every sin, which if perhaps a human does, is exterior to the body. The one fornicating sins against his own body. Fornication is something that is completely against the natural use of our body. Our bodies were designed to be paired with a single person, male and female together, for the rest of their lives. That is actually the way our bodies were designed. And when we fornicate, we actually go against our own bodies. Now, of course, that sin is going to bring all kinds of bad things into our lives. We don't want that. But our focus shouldn't be on that. Our focus should actually be on what God has actually provided for us and the fact that we should be ones who are pure. We should be sanctified, that is set apart unto God. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the world system doesn't want that, because the world system wants you to be involved with their perversity because they're jealous and envious of us. There is absolutely nothing wrong with living a life of abstinence. That is the way we actually should be living. The desires of the world system are the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, and the desires of biological life. None of these show the love of God or have any aspect of the love of God in them. We are the church. We actually belong to God. We need to stop letting the world manipulate us into doing things where we're dishonoring ourselves and start to set ourselves apart and not be ashamed of that. In all actuality, the ones that don't, and I'm talking about Christians who don't set themselves apart, who don't flee from fornication, they're the ones that should be ashamed, because that should not be something that's mentioned among the saints. If you're dealing with that kind of a situation and you can't overcome it, it's because you're not taking God at his word. Fornication comes from the sin nature. We have victory over the sin nature in Christ. Romans chapter 6 and verse 6 talks about the fact that the sin nature has been rendered ineffective when we're functioning from our position in Christ. And what does that mean? That means you're taking God at his word. We have died with Christ and we have been resurrected to walk in newness of life. That death is death to sin. We're separated from it. Stop acting like it still rules your life. It doesn't. Count that to be true. And then start yielding your members to righteousness rather than unrighteousness, so that you are having victory over the sin nature and you're not being overcome by fornication or any other aspect of the sin nature. And start living a life where we truly are possessing our bodies in a way where we are sanctified, that is set apart unto God, and treat it with the respect that it properly deserves.